Hey, welcome to another episode of Mafia Memoirs. My name's Jody Sedrick, and this is my partner,
Puzey.
And of course, we have the myth, the legend, the founder of the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle.
Hey man, how's it going, guys?
Awesome to be with you.
SEMA 2018. I mean, is that killer or what?
It has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So to be a part of the P&S booth with you and Bob and Dave Phillips has just been a phenomenal 3 days. So just starting 3 days. So. And just a mad kudos to you and Diane and the Detail Mafia. Last night we had a gathering of the IDA. We had over 300 people attend the event, and that was just awesome.
Something that we started out kind of as a joke. We started out as a cigar and spirits social for detailers. 7 years, that's our 7th annual last night. And we really thought we'd have 10, 15 people show up. That first year we had 50.
Wow.
And so we went, whoa. So we moved it up the next year to another venue that could hold 100, and we had about 150. So we're like, okay, and then we moved it to the rum bar where we had it last night. And last night, our totals were about 300. The facility manager said there's probably closer to 400 that came totally through.
I believe it. It was wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. But that's one of the things that's really awesome about the group is because even in a social event like that, people are sharing information.
Awesome,
what are you doing?
Awesome.
Listening to people from Alaska and Hawaii have a conversation about what do you do in your environment? What do you do in your environment? And this is what we have. This is what we have, and really learning from each other.
We had 9 countries there last night.
Did we really?
We had 9 countries.
Wow.
that I know of. And to see, our Mafia members, they're such great ambassadors to the industry. It's part of the criteria of being Mafia. Is we want you to be an ambassador. The industry's changed. We weren't always so friendly to the industry because the industry wasn't always friendly. It was kind of the wild, wild west. But in the last 2 or 3 years, especially the last 2 years, it's been a criteria for Mafia members to be ambassadors. We want them to be really good citizens and help others, not just our fellow teammates in our group, but other people within the industry grow and prosper.
Well, one of the things that I find really exciting along those lines is, a couple weeks ago, you guys introduced the Detail Industry Strong hashtag. And you really see that among the detailers, especially members of the Detail Mafia, the IDA. They're really trying to elevate everybody in the industry. It's not, I'm competing with you. Even in same markets, I'm seeing a lot of collaboration between guys that are in the same markets. They're not, trying to undercut each other. So, and I think that's a big thing.
And one of the things that was a telltale sign of that was I had a young guy stop in here in his 20s, had started a detailing company, has people working with him, so it's like 3 or 4 guys, and came in and said, okay, explain to me why I would want to be IDA, why I would want to be involved in the Detail Mafia, and what does that do for me? And I was like, okay. He said, if you're sitting there in your shop right now and you run into an issue and you've got something funky going on with gel coat, what do you do? He's like, well, I don't know, I'm going to search on the internet. I go, right. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up a phone, and there are 30 people standing within a 20-foot radius of me, and they're all going to answer their phone.
That's it.
And they're going to explain to me what they've dealt with, what they've seen, and it's a little bit beyond that. And the other thing is with the IDA, you get the certification, and you get the legitimacy of being a certified detailer.
Well, here's the protest that we've been hearing. Well, my customers don't care if I'm certified. I ran a very successful shop, well over $1 million a year. We had our own certification program that we took very serious. We only had 3 masters in damn near 20 years make it to master level out of, I don't know, probably 100 technicians that came through the doors over the years. We market our certification. And the reason why we became #1 was that's one of the reasons, is that we used that as part of our marketing. So, problem with detailing is that in the past, we're detailers, not entrepreneurs. Now we're starting to see it flip finding, and then the Detail Mafia, you made a great point to where, Rod, that it's you can take in the benefits of the Detail Mafia is that we are all to a high standard. We go through not just a week of training with me, but we have upwards of 40 webinars. We bring some of the best guest detailers and educators and badasses of industry, not just detailing industry, to us. We network with the best. We educate with the best. We're about education, because if you're not learning and moving ahead, you're dying and moving backwards.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things I saw yesterday that was just awesome is Jason Kilmer.
Yeah.
In here, the Sandman. And I mean, there's a lot of detailers that aren't looking at that. I mean, that's not bread and butter, but if you know that technique and if you've done that with him, it is an art form. That guy is a freaking artist.
He is, and that's another guy. I mean, we bring him in. He's he's coming into the Mafia again. So we had an East Coast event. Now we're having a West Coast event, and those are the level of guys that we bring in, where we don't have to share the time with somebody that's maybe not very skilled yet. We all know that our guys are at a base level, and when you come to an event, you're not being drugged down by. And I'm not ragging on people that just don't know, but we don't have enough time, So we just like to bring these special guests in, like Jason. I mean, the guy's he's probably one of the best, if not the best, detailers in the world, and to have him privately with us.
Yeah.
I mean, the investment. I told him, I stood up, and this is no lie, I'm a pretty badass sander. Been doing it since I was a kid, right? Yeah. 15 minutes into, and I'm kind of sitting back there, and you could see him and his crew kind of going, why is Renny not engaged real heavily? And I was back there listening, and 15 minutes into it, I said, stop. I need to stop this right now. And he looked back at me like, uh-oh. And I went, I just paid for this entire training in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes I paid for the Sandman investment, and then bringing them out in 15 minutes. It was that valuable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the rag company's doing a phenomenal job of educating people. It's like just a couple weeks ago, we were out at their location. Right. You were there. Yeah. Dave Phillips was there. And, I'm a software guy, but I'm becoming a detailing geek because I go to all the events. I'm engaged. I'm learning myself. And it's like yesterday, as people were coming up to the PS Detail booth, I was able to, they were asking me about interior repair. I actually went over and said, all right, here's step 1, step 2, step 3.
You're learning it.
And I was learning it. I was excited about it. I was actually able to contribute to the booth beyond just software, because we're on the fringes. We're helping people run and manage their business with our software. But it's like the elevation across the board is what I see. It's just exhilarating, and it's elevating all people.
And if you look at the training facilities that are available now, and we've talked about this in the past, Renny, where if you look at the industry like 2008, where it was just like run and gun, versus now what it is today. So you've got training facilities all across the country. Right. And it doesn't matter if somebody's in Florida or California or the Midwest or wherever they're at. And just the groups of people, what do we have at the RoadFS training in Denver? We actually had 2 full buses of Mafia members that went to Denver with either distributors or detailers to be at that event.
That's it. Here I am. I'm the spokesperson for Flex, but we invest in training across the board.
Yeah.
And the training center is great, because what we did is launching that is, my 5-day advanced course is only held in California right now. Right. Because it's so intense, so hard. And Diane and I have spent 15 years building the system up. But we've got 1-day extreme classes in Arizona, in Indiana, in New Jersey, in Florida. We've got a motorcycle detailing training center that just signed on that's in New Jersey also. We're going to take the Hogfather detailing nationwide. So we're going into motorcycles. And what those 1-day classes are about is the guy that's just getting into it, that's not yet ready to jump in at a real advanced training and spend big money to come out to Diane and I, but get a really solid base education to where they just don't screw stuff up.
Yeah, and I think that's real exciting thing too, is these narrow niche markets that somebody can specialize with a day of training and go, you know what, I'm going to go after motorcycles, or I'm going to go after boats. And the other thing that I thought was impressive was at the IDA get-together at the first night is Parker Richards was talking about rolling out a Marine certification through the IDA, right? And that's really, really cool.
Parker's one of the examples, like Justin and these other guys, of the next generation coming up through detailing that are laying down. They respect what us guys that have been in the industry a long time had to go through. Detailing was a lot harder. It's a lot easier now. And I'm not downgrading what the younger people are going through, but it was kind of like driving, driving a Model T as a race car versus a modern day, Formula One. It's just really hard to get up to speed when we had limited tools, limited products, limited access, limited education. We just, with what's out there right now, if you're hitting, I can't recall who it was, and I apologize because I love to give credit, but we're saying that really if you're hitting, if you're a 4-cylinder engine and you're hitting on 2 cylinders, right now you should be even at 50% pretty successful. If you're hitting at 100%, you should be very, very financially stable, and financial freedom should be yours.
Well, the one thing I think that's interesting is the people that are still stuck in that mode of their ego, and they're not opening themselves up to learning. And I think that's a real shame, because if they're willing to open themselves up and ask questions, at this point, the industry's going to share with them the knowledge. And they'll know. We had guys coming in here that were yesterday that were professional body shop guy, and they have a way of doing stuff. And they know how to do that. But they're asking professional detailers, look, I want to go a bit deeper than just cutting a new fresh paint, getting it out, cutting a fresh paint, getting it out. What do I need to do? And to me, to see somebody seeking out somebody, and they're like, we know if we talk to anybody with that logo, they're the guys that are going to get us information. And if I don't have it, I'm going to get them with somebody. And that is the key, is that again, high tide rises all ships. It is helping everybody in the industry and make it into something that is not just, a guy with a rag washing cars. It's something so much more than that. It is at a level that is protection and preserving any kind of vehicle, boat, car, RV, whatever. I mean, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an RV. Why would you not spend the money to protect that?
Well, damn, I tell people all the time, a modern day truck, you go buy an F-250 or an F-350, that truck costs more than my original house. It's crazy. So, I'll make a point too that you just both hit on, and sometimes I think some of the industry looks at the Detail Mafia and they're like, well, you guys really think you're that badass? You think you're the best detailers in the world? No, we're just the most profitable. I mean, there's guys that are better than us, but they're not tying in profits with performance.
And that's a big thing, because we were out at Perfection Plus Auto Detailing out in Redmond, Oregon, with Shane Mayfield last week. And one of the things that he said, he goes, I've been running my business for years, and then I got engaged with the Detail Mafia, and I went to your training. And he goes, I got there, and you recognized that he was already an exceptional detailer. He said, but what was important for me was I learned more about how to become an entrepreneur. He goes, because until that time, I was a detailer that owned a business. Now I'm an owner that details. And he goes, it totally changed my mindset, because then I was able to look at my business and go, all right, I'm going to cut these services and I'm going to focus on these services that are more profitable for me. It puts me in a higher niche, and it makes me not only more profitable business, but it gives me a niche to be the best in the market.
That's it.
And he goes, and I couldn't have done that without people like Renny Doyle, Justin Lobato, and other people among the group that are really helping elevate not only the detailing aspect of my business, but the business side of my business.
That's it.
And I think a lot of people have forgotten that, right? And you often said it. And originally, detailers were just gypsies in a van detailing, right?
And a lot of times, unfortunately, we still got that segment. But Jim Gogan's sitting right here, one of my best buddies, and when he came to me for training, he was 22 years into his business. Justin was 8 or 9 years into his business. They were already successful detailers. But the thing is, like, Jim and I, we're the same age, practically the same age. Is that what we realized in our in all of our years of friendship, is that it's a combination of balance between work, lifestyle, family, and then paying yourself, gifting yourself time. But I want to mention a couple books. So those that just can't get out and train with us, check out our one-day trainings. It's a great option. Some books that have absolutely influenced my life. E-Myth.
That's a great book.
You got to read E-Myth.
Yes.
The 4-Hour Work Week. Is because, am I going to work 4 hours? I can't, man. I mean, I'm lucky to get off at 8, right? I mean, I understand that. But it's a good book to kind of set a tone. Now, I've gone over to where every couple weeks I'm down to a 4-day work week now, you know, so I'm spending more time. And then being a military search and rescue, you know, paramilitary kind of guy, still in the reserves, is there's one of the best books that's I've ever read that's impacted my life is Extreme Ownership.
Oh, I haven't read that.
It's written by a Navy SEAL commander. I actually, hopefully, I kind of got, you know, don't tell anybody, I got a man crush on this guy. And so I think we've got a mutual friend, and so he's going to try to introduce us before the end of the year.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm losing my mind because he's like Michael Jackson to me. I mean, the guy is just, you know, I love what he says, and it's really, I started doing, you know, keynote speeches. You guys saw that?
Yeah.
I'm writing a second book, and what I talk about is the balance of my experience within search and rescue in the military and then bringing it back to business. Well, Jocko brings in purely, I'm kind of hunt and help where he was hunt and destroy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's much more hardcore, you know, the things that he's experienced, I can't even compete with. But somebody in the audience at my keynote came up and they said, hey, have you ever heard of this guy? And I went, no. And so they gave me his book right then and there, and I read it, and I was like, I got to meet this guy. You know, but I'm telling you right now, those 3 books, I read, the average entrepreneur reads anywhere from 24 to 60 books a year.
Right.
You know, or excuse me, average millionaire. And those are people I've talked to. So I'm reading about 30 books a year. I listen to probably another 30. So I'm really into feeding my brain, you know. And I'd love to tell you that I love, you know, romance novels, and I don't. It's all about marketing, business, you know, personal development as a man, you know, how to make myself a better father, husband, son, friend, you know, all that good stuff. But Extreme Ownership, I'll be honest, the book that's changed my life more than anything is the Bible. The second book was Extreme Ownership.
That's awesome.
It's right behind it.
And I think that's a really important thing is I think a lot of people miss the value of self-improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, you talk about books that changes your life. One of the ones that really impacted me are 2, actually. The Dip by Seth Godin, right? You know, because a lot of us get in the dip and we just want to give up. And that's actually when you're usually about to succeed. And then a new one that I just found, it's called The Messy Middle. And it just came out. You gotta read it. It's awesome because it talks about everybody when they first start their business, they're excited, they have a vision, whatever, and then they get in the messy middle of running their business, and they're like, "Oh crap, what the hell did I just do? Right?
This is too hard. I can't do this.
How do I do it?" Right? And it talks about how to push through it and press forward and become successful.
So one of the things that I like about those books is it allows me, and I'm always thinking about like an engineer on a boat or something, or an aircraft. You're constantly adjusting those dials, and the problem is with something like a product, right? A single product or a single thing, I can adjust. You know, I can adjust it up to 5 or 6. But in a business, there's 147 novels out there, 147 dials that you're all doing at once, and so you have to do that in a very methodical way so you don't ruin the business. And you mentioned something that I want to key on. We do have people come in here that literally are offended by the Mafia or the affiliation. And why do you guys think you're the best? And I actually had a guy ask me that question, and I answered it. Why does the Mafia think they're so freaking good? And I said, you know the reason why? Because collectively, these are the best detailers on the planet, hands down. Because it's not a single focus. It is the whole group.
That's it.
If you want to know how to do this, there's somebody that's done it. If you want to know how to do that, there's somebody that's done it. So all those dials come together in a group of people that make you a better person. It's not me, a maverick, just running and gunning.
Yeah, it really isn't. And you know, it might come off egotistical, or it's not. It's really not. They're very sure of their abilities, and they're going to the bank daily. There's the key.
I call it. There's a difference between cocky and confident.
That's exactly.
If you are confident and you have the knowledge to back it up, and you have somebody else, and if I'm confident, I will take something that I don't know and I'll say, you know, I don't know that, but Renny does. Well, if you're cocky, I know it all.
Great point. And you know, the lowest points of my life, whether it be, you know, in my time in search and rescue of going up, and you know, I've witnessed between, you know, the military, search and rescue, the lowest of the low. I've seen things that most humans should never. There's even things I've seen I shouldn't have seen. But unfortunately, that's what makes a good soldier, warrior, search and rescue technician, is that the best can carry the burden, but that burden still gets to you every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? It really does. But here's the deal, is that every once in a while I'll go out on something and I'll come home and it humbles you.
Yeah.
And it reminds you that I'm just a detailer. And you know what? We've got expiration dates.
Yeah.
All of us do.
Yep.
Unfortunately, some of our expiration dates I've lost. You know, grew up in a really rough kind of environment. I've lost a lot of friends at an early age. I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
You know, I learned some really valuable lessons that at the time I was very not open to those. But my father, who's literally one of my heroes, told me, he's like, at one point in my life, he's like, you know what? You think you're good, but there's always somebody better.
Yeah.
Always
And I got
somebody,
pissed off at him at the beginning. I thought, that guy does true, he's not supporting me. And actually, it was one of the best lessons of my life, because what he was telling me is, stay humble. Don't get so cocky about something, because there's always somebody that's smarter and younger and faster and but behind you, and that's okay. Help that guy.
Yeah,
help that person come along.
absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
the way to do it. So,
Yeah.
so you know, take those lessons, and sometimes the ones that you're offended by are the ones that are the most valuable to learn.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's just super awesome. So, but I appreciate you taking the time.
You got it, man.
We're like 5 minutes from opening, so we probably need to cut this away. But
Well, let me hold on. No, we're not going to cut it away yet. We're not going to cut it away. No. So here's we want to now let's talk about a little bit about something that cool that you guys are doing. Okay, so the software package. So you guys, we've been working together, you and I, for God, 15,
forever.
15 years.
Absolutely.
You know, 15 years. So you know, one of the biggest things we've talked about, the biggest challenge in any industry, not just detailing. You know, I've got a couple friends that are doctors, chiropractors, dentists. The thing that they don't teach in medical school is business.
Yeah.
And where most people fail when they get into private practice in medical is business. So it goes hand in hand. Where do most people, you know, Dave Phillips is the chemist for P&S. Probably didn't teach a whole lot of business side of it, right? 5 minutes, 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But they did take and they key in on it. You guys have taken it and brought a software to the stage that allows a detailer or mobile operator or automotive operator or even a distributor now to take and operate a business. So let's just key in. What do you think that your guys' software does for the average entrepreneur?
Hopefully it makes it simpler. It takes that minutia and all that, oh my God, what am I going to do with inventory and pricing, and how do I do this, and how do I keep track of all my services, and what do I do? And it turns that into a few button clicks.
Well, and I think a couple years ago, we had one of Rod actually requested a service, right? And he got an invoice at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And Rod called him up and said, "Did you really send me that invoice at 3 o'clock in the morning?" He goes, "Well, I didn't have any other time to do it."
Wow.
And that's really the power of what we bring,
Shame
right?
on him.
Oh,
Especially
exactly.
if he's a dad.
3 o'clock
Exactly.
in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning.
We
her
had a
husband.
gal stop into the booth that one day, and she sat down and she saw the software, and she goes, "I'm not leaving until you buy this." And it was a husband and wife team, and he goes, "What are you talking about?" She says, "I do all your invoicing and I do it on the weekends." And so a couple months after they got it, we got a really nice letter back from her, and she goes, "I got my weekends back." And then the guy realized, he goes, "You know what, this is great because it's helped our marriage." And I'm like, I never thought that this would be like marriage therapy, but he goes, "We actually now are more cohesive because she's not working all weekend long, and I'm not pissed
And
off
they have
because of
some
bills
time
aren't.
together.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so they got this,
How cool is that?
They get their life back, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you focus on as well.
That's it.
So
That's it.
And I think that's a big thing, right? The guys can use our software. They can create an invoice, add services, add products that they're selling, and they can invoice at that time.
How cool is
right?
that?
And that's really the power, is really giving them the freedom to run their business, but also have the intelligence behind it to be able to go, hey, where am I losing money? Where am I making money?
Yeah.
Right? And
Why do I
maybe I
track
either need to train people better, or maybe I need to cut some services and focus on the ones that are more profitable for me. And that's really what we're bringing to the table.
Why do you think McDonald's offers value meals?
That's right.
Because they know that's where the profits are.
Yep.
Why do they upsize to do you want a medium or a large, or do you want to go macho?
Right. And
You
why
know?
did they bring healthy salads?
That's exactly
Right,
it.
because they brought in moms with their kids,
That's
you
it.
know, and they're able to
Why
capture an additional market.
Why they bring in soft ice cream? I mean, all these different things. That's what software allows you to do, is simplify, support your lifestyle, but it comes down to where you can profitize from. You want to maximize. I tell people, what do you want to do? Do you want to make $100,000 a year working 80 hours a week, or do you want to make $100,000 a year working 30 hours a week?
Exactly.
You know, and unfortunately in our industry, everybody brags about the stupid one. You know, overworking. I think overworking's you're retarded.
Yeah.
You know, and I was retarded for a long time.
I think
still
all
kind
of us
am,
are, right?
You know?
I think all of us are. We're so driven to make the buck that we don't look at systems and processes that will make us more efficient and give us the time to do the things. Because really, I mean, at the end, we want to be profitable because it gives us time to do the things that are most important in life, right? Absolutely. Because the one thing I want my kids to remember is that Dad had time to go to my games, to go to my events, but he also was successful in business, right? It's the also successful.
That's it.
I was first, right? And I think that's what's most important.
You know, and we'll end it on this. I've been up and I've fortunately and unfortunately have taken and watched people take their last breath. And I've never ever been asked for anybody to have me tell their money or their bank account.
I loved you.
Or the accountant that I loved you. But they've told me a lot of miserable things, or they've told me some very heartfelt things to tell their loved ones. And so you're not taking the shit with you.
No.
You're not. You came in butt naked, you're going out butt naked. And the only thing you're taking with you is the deposits you make in other people.
And I love
exactly it. That is exactly it. The fact that, you know, when I can get up in the morning and I looked in the mirror and I decided that I'm going to go ahead and take my kid to school today so I can spend some time with him. And that is to me, technology has brought us that on all facets of our life, right? I can communicate with somebody, I can do whatever, but that is really the advantage of it. You know, some of the stuff is cool, but the thing is, you can spend time with your family, which is the people you want to be with.
You know, I've got a new theory is, you know, going back military invasion, right? I don't let people invade my time anymore.
That's good.
You've got to put out your defense forces. You've got to have your Overwatch. And your Overwatch has got to be you, but most importantly, you've got to train if you're married, you've got to train your spouse to not allow you to overwork.
I didn't have to train mine. We actually, excuse me, several years ago, I came home and it was about 6:30 at night and I answered a business phone call. And when I got done, my wife said, "You're done." And I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "At 5 o'clock, you're mine." Right. So we now literally in the house have this policy and it is like militant. I turn my phone off and I set it down. I will not answer my phone until after, you know, once the kids have gone to bed, once we're all just hanging out, then I pick it up and I'll answer emails or something. But that's it. It is not the time for that.
You know what I started doing at 5 o'clock? I put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
That's good. That's
5 o'clock. Because anything can wait till the next morning.
Absolutely.
And that's actually it's a freeing feeling. It is. That oh my God, I'm not going to lose everything if I don't answer that phone call. If people get used to you going, you know, I'm going to answer you, but it's going to be within 24 hours. I'm not going to jump. You know? Everybody's become instant, and all you have to do is retrain people to your tolerance level. And you know what? They'll respect that. You know, they will. And if they don't, I don't want to do business with them. Right. They get it. Right. They have a family as well. They should understand that. And that is a great feeling, and I think that is. You know, one of the biggest lessons that you learn is that you have to take the time for yourself and your family, and if you don't, you're doing it for nothing. I don't care how much money you have.
Let me qualify something too. Is if any of my search and rescue or military bosses are watching, I don't have you on Do Not Disturb.
And I think that's an important thing, right? One thing that my wife and I set up very early in our marriage is every Friday is date night.
That's awesome.
And I think that is really, really important.
Well, you and your wife, you know, I watch your videos, and, you know, I don't get it. I just don't have a lot of, you know, we're all so, you know, I hate the word busy, I really do, but we've only got so many hours to be productive. And so, you know, social media is hard because it grabs you. But your videos with your wife, honestly, if I see you post something with your wife and you guys are in the kitchen, I stop. That's one of those I'm scrolling and I'll go, oop, hold on, what was he doing? And I hit it.
We're always doing
what are they making today?
And you know what? It's more so. You know what it's about? I love your guys' synergy and energy.
Yeah, we have a great time.
I love the fact that you guys, I mean this with all respect, you guys are cute. You know, no, you are. You're very passionate, and for a guy that, you know, I love my wife dearly, and here's I got people always ask, well, man, how do you guys stay so happy? It's not always like that.
No,
sorry.
it's not. No,
it's 50% of the time we don't even like each other.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that when you go through those times, it passes. Just be patient.
You just
know?
keep working.
Yeah, you just don't worry about it. That flame, if you keep the flame alive, it stays alive.
Yeah, that's
Simple
it.
as that.
So.
Well, hey, should we go to work real quick?
We should.
All right, guys. Thanks, man. This is fun.
Man.
You got it, man.
Absolutely.
So, hey, guys, happy detailing, everybody. Take care, man.
Thanks for all you do, and thanks, guys, for joining us on another episode of Mafia Memoirs. And we got some more that we're going to be doing here at SEMA. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.